Dear subscribers, you see that many dog owners, whether they have the smallest dog or the largest, beat their dogs. As in the example I just gave, if I had just hit the dog once, it would have said, "I don't care about your daughter-in-law." This would destroy the trust relationship between you and your dog. In other words, your dog wouldn't trust you. What can you do to make your dog trust you? Or what can you do to prevent such things from happening? It's about deceiving the dog. Deceiving a dog also destroys the trust relationship between you. For example, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another video on Superdog TV. I hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel, where you'll find the most comprehensive dog training videos in Turkey. I'm expert trainer Can Güler. Dear subscribers, in today's video, I will talk about the things that destroy the trust relationship between you and your dog. What can you do to destroy the trust relationship between you and your dog? In other words, your dog won't trust you. What can you do to make your dog trust you? Or what can you do to prevent such things from happening? I will discuss these things. If you want more videos like this, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Dear subscribers, if it's convenient for you, and the weather is nice, let me groom Cooper. While I'm doing that, I'll explain. Let's change the camera angle a bit. Let's film it downwards. Dear subscribers, first of all, it's very important to know this. There must be a trust relationship between you and your dog. Now, the dog needs to know, if this person is grooming me, there must be a reason. Then you'll have a dog that comes when you say come, and stops when you say stop. This is really important. Because do you know why it's important? When you do this, your life becomes more comfortable. You can go anywhere comfortably with your dog. Then, you can intervene when necessary. Do you know what a significant number of people who call themselves dog trainers on the internet say? Area restriction. They say, "We absolutely do not accept crate training. It destroys the trust relationship between you and your dog." That's a lie. Area restriction actually increases the trust relationship between you and your dog. I'll explain. We don't give two punishments. A collar? Never. We only use a harness. And then, what era are we living in? A choke collar. The collar on the dog's neck right now. What era are we living in? If you put on this collar, the relationship between you and the dog will be destroyed. The dog will be afraid of you. It won't trust you. Again, a lie. Again, a lie. Our valued subscribers, we don't leave the dog alone. We never recommend leaving it alone for more than 6 hours. Because the dog will get angry at you. The trust between you will be destroyed. And so on. We encounter such statements. This inevitably negatively affects your life. Because these things have nothing to do with reality. Are you going to count the hours until you go to work? Will you not punish the dog if it bites you? Will you not scold the dog if it bites your child? Will you not restrict the dog's space if it pees and poops everywhere and destroys things while you're not home? Therefore, our valued subscribers, first of all, know this. These things we have mentioned do not destroy the trust between you and the dog. So what destroys the trust between you and the dog? First of all, dear subscribers, using violence against a dog destroys the trust between you. The dog thinks, "This guy is going to beat me now," or, "It's better if I don't go near him. He calls me, but I don't go." But beating him now is the ultimate act. Let's call it the pinnacle. You say a human wouldn't do that, a dog owner, an animal lover wouldn't do that, but unfortunately, you see many dog owners beating their dogs, whether they have the smallest or the largest. For example, you see it at dog beauty contests with Poodle and Pomeranian owners. Maltese owners, their dogs bark. It's the first time they've ever seen a dog. Then, because the dog barks, they slap it hard. Now, when you look at it, you think, "Sister, you are so protective of this dog, but this animal has never even received a flick from me in its life. If it had, could I do these things?" Signer is scared, but when you look at him, he's quite relaxed. He says, "Oh man," he says, "just get rid of those winter coats. You'll relax, and I'll relax too." Then he stands there comfortably. Now, to create this, we must first eliminate this violence, that is, hitting dogs, from our lives. Dear subscribers, let me give you an example. If you're walking your dog in the park, you'll encounter things like this. Now imagine a dog in the park. It's barking, barking, barking. As a dog owner, you think, what will the owner do? The owner says, Cookie, come here. Cookie goes and bam, he slaps him in the mouth. Now Cookie says, he said come. I ran to this man. Instead of him saying, well done, I got slapped. Why would Cookie trust that man? Never. And because he doesn't trust him, dear subscribers, the risk of a trust issue disappears. One day I was in the park. Let me elaborate on that incident a bit, because it's a cautionary tale. One day, dear subscribers, I was in the park with my dog, Cooper. Cooper was about 2 years old. A man was approaching from the opposite direction, but he was carrying a dead dog. He was wearing a white suit. Apparently, the man had 2 small breed dogs, some of them swollen. One had been mauled by another dog, and the other had disappeared in the park. The man said, Sir, they know me, of course. I live in Batuk, near Urmumju. Because I walk dogs all the time, I know people. Sir, they let go of my dog over there. A Kangal dog, he said. It tore my dog apart. And it had a puppy. I was walking it with them. The puppy went into the bushes. I'm taking it home. Imagine, the dog is dead, torn to pieces. I'm taking it home. Could you, he said, do something? What was its name? Could you look into it? If you see it, catch it, he said. Okay, I said. We were upset and all that. My daughter and I went to the park. I let Cooper loose. He was peeing and pooping around. Then I said, let's take a look around. While we were looking around, there were some teenage kids sitting in the distance. Our valued subscribers, while these teenage kids were sitting there, they started hitting each other. You know, teenage pranks. What do guys do when they're together? They either hit each other or do some other idiotic thing. Then they started hitting each other. I looked up at a whistling sound. I saw Cooper had taken it upon himself to intervene. We were doing security work at the time. Someone was hitting me, I was throwing myself to the ground, and so on. He said, oh, there's a fight. I'll break up this fight. He was running at full speed. There was about 50-60 meters between us. I may have told this story before. Then I shouted into the distance. No, I said. Why? You're running and attacking those guys. I don't want that from you. No, I said. I even shouted a little loudly. Why? Because there was distance, because the dog stopped abruptly. Then it turned and looked at me there. I said, come here, son, come. Look, I immediately changed the situation. The dog came. If I had hit it with a bam, like in the example I just gave, the dog would have said, I'll curse your daughter-in-law. It would have said, God forbid, and wouldn't come again. Instead, I said, well done, my boy. I showed it affection and gave it its ball, because that incident is separate from the incident of it coming. Now, if you mix apples and oranges and use violence against the dog as punishment, you will clearly destroy the trust relationship between you. This is the first point, dear subscribers. If you do this, the trust between you and the dog disappears. The second is deceiving the dog. Deceiving the dog also destroys the trust relationship between you. For example, a toy. Let's say this. I pretended to throw it to the dog. Of course, I wouldn't normally do that, but I pretended to throw it if you said to the dog, where's the ball? Where? You do this once, you do it twice. The third time, the dog doesn't do these actions. It says, damn, he's deceiving me again. You don't hide toys, you give a search command. Then you say come, but you don't like it. You say come after the park, you walk around the park, etc. You say come dog, come. You put a leash on it and take it home. You put a leash on it and take it home. The dog says, hey, I'm coming, but there's no reward. I'm coming, but they don't like me. I'm coming, and they put a leash on me and take me home. Why should I do this? Why should I come to this man? So dear subscribers, what should we do to a dog? Just like beating a dog, deceiving it destroys the trust relationship between you. But as I explained at the beginning of the video, limiting the dog to its area doesn't destroy the trust relationship. The dog will do its business when you're there. It goes for walks with you, plays with you, has fun with you, and can't destroy things when you're not there. It can't do that thing it enjoys. It gets everything from you. Of course, the dog becomes more attached to you. It becomes more obedient. This is not something that destroys the trust relationship. Let's not say it's free to try. Buying a crate is a bit expensive. Buy a crate and see. See the effect on the dog. Similarly, leaving it alone at home, putting your dog in a crate at night and sleeping doesn't eliminate the risk of a lack of trust. Dogs don't have a concept of time. Whether you leave them alone for 5 minutes to go to the toilet or 5 hours to go to work, nothing changes for the dog, dear subscribers. Therefore, leave your dog alone. If you have to leave them alone, limit their space. If they're destroying things, urinating, or if you're worried about your dog, don't worry. Limit their space. Again, what do our valued subscribers say? Punishing the dog. You need to be able to punish when necessary. You are the owner who sometimes lovingly embraces your dog, and sometimes you are the owner who intervenes. As an intervening owner, for example, I allow Cooper to chew on wood because he enjoys it. But if I didn't want him to chew on wood, I would say no, and Cooper would stop. And the dog would say, okay, what am I doing? I have wood in my mouth. So dear subscribers, teaching that no sound, being able to give that punishment, is your responsibility. It greatly increases your control over your dog. There's a pod, brother, you put on the collar. No, you just click. You have a German Shepherd. You put on the leash. We've explained this many times. You pull it like this. Why? One guy weighs 40 kilos, and the other 4 kilos. There's a huge difference. Therefore, punishment certainly doesn't destroy the trust relationship between you and your dog. I'm continuing to groom our valued subscribers. If you want more videos like this, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Cooper, let's continue grooming. See you soon. Regards. C.